You just sneezed and flew 10 feet in the air.
Really? It felt higher than that. You're an airbender.
Sure am.
Giant light beams, flying bison, airbenders. I think I got midnight sun madness. I'm going home to where stuff makes sense.
And we alive, people.
What up?
Hello.
Y'all, credit not to me. I didn't make that video. I found it on YouTube. But I listen to that damn near every night. And actually the beginning of that track is it's Iro, but it's a lot of like slight remixes to the what's that, the Leaves from the Vine. Y'all know that song.
Does it make you cry when you listen to it?
It doesn't. I'm not an easy crier though.
Apparently it makes people cry.
It makes people cry. I want to cry. It's like I feel I'm already only 50% human, but it makes me feel even less human, like more of a monster when I don't cry to it. So I'm like, there's something wrong with me. Why? Like I'm smacking my face, like make some water come out. Leaves from the vine. Oh my goodness.
It's got that there's kind of like two things working against you at once, making you sad. On the one hand, it's the story they've got going in that episode, where it's like, oh, that's very touching, but at the same time, it's like that's the episode they dedicated to Iroh's voice actor because he passed away, Mako. I was
Right.
like, oh,
Yeah.
Salt show.
Definitely didn't realize that till later. But yes, very emotional, man. You know, we all know this, but everything great about the animated series is just not here. You know, they are trying some things, and I'll give the show credit. It does some things well, but overall, you know, they take out most of the great stuff about it in exchange for some bull. Oh man, this show is all over the place, as well as the tone, man. I remember saying that anime does a great job of balancing tones, and this would have been the perfect episode to do it with the hippies.
This show could use a major lesson in tone.
Oh man, and then we were talking about what Iroh did to somebody in one moment, and then right after he was just like, nah, we don't need more of that. Like, what? You should have said that to the last dude. He would have appreciated your little change of heart.
Yeah. I thought they were gonna have some character growth, and they were just like, oh no, he's gonna taunt him. I was like, why? What's happening?
Oh man, the soldiers. Okay, so apparently there was some article about they wanted the like Game of Thrones energy with this show.
Ugh.
Can y'all provide some truth, some validity to that? Y'all did
I
y'all
mean,
see that?
if we're talking Game of Thrones season 8 energy, yeah. I mean,
Oh,
it's
okay,
yeah, in
yeah.
terms of it's garbage, but that's about it seems all the lessons from Game of Thrones it took was from that season because uh it definitely it definitely isn't doing anything that even remotely resembles, the best of Game of Thrones. Because I mean, it's they're like, and I've brought this up a couple of times. There's times where this show really wants you to take it seriously, really wants you to be
Mhm.
shocked by this or that, but then like 2 seconds later, it's trying to be a kids show. It's like that's
Yes.
silly. That doesn't make a lot of sense.
At some point, Sokka says hell.
Yeah, there's a little. Yeah, they added a little bit of profanity to it, and uh, like there's a few swears spackled throughout the show, which I'm like,
Huh.
okay, you can do that, but
Mhm.
you need to you kind of need to pick a tone and go with it. It's like, are you a PG-13 show? Okay, be PG-13 for the whole show, and
Yeah.
you can balance comedy and seriousness in a PG-13 show. That's fine,
Sure.
but whew, the shifts can be awfully dramatic in this one.
Yeah, Shrek does a better job of sliding in the swears.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's like different totally different teams wrote individual scenes. So
Mhm.
there's no flow to it
Oh.
at all.
Yeah. It's pretty messy. Pretty
Yeah.
messy.
All right, I guess we don't really have to do first impressions. Gord said it before, this was like the is this the worst episode or is this just starting the trend of the show going downward from this point on?
Well, I mean, it started going downward after this first scene of the first episode, but
Oh, okay.
um but I know that okay, so obviously I mean, I've watched the entire show. I'm before these streams, I'm watching episodes for a second time. I knew going into this one again that this was the episode that left the worst impression on me.
Mm.
And upon rewatch, it's definitely the worst one I've rewatched so far. I tend to think this probably is rock bottom for it. Uh, I hope it is because uh, it's this is pretty bad. This is pretty bad. This one is the one where it's not just, you know, where you're eye rolling and stuff like that, and the dialogue's bad. It has all of that, but it's just on a pure storytelling, internal logic level. This one is severely broken at times.
I had to put Nas's comment up there. I'm seeing the chat. I'll get to y'all, but y'all I love it. I love streaming with these people. I've talked with about this with them. I am enjoying being able to critique a show, to watch something and not use the word woke. It's like, is it good? Is it not? Why? Sure, strong woman. That's why I say like things are it's a product of the time. But it's like Avatar has a very vocal, serious, passionate fan base. And I can't think of no other time in my time on YouTube where I've been able to just sit here and talk about one thing
Mhm.
consistently with people. Even though I had to drag these folks onto the panel to talk about it, I'm glad that they were willing. But yeah, man, I'm enjoying seeing this show, not because of the show, but seeing someone else's attempt at adapting it for whatever reason. Because we know the original creators walked off of the show.
Yeah.
But it's like, okay, fellow fans, instead of just being online and like talking at somebody or not fully understanding what they're saying because we're limited with characters on social media, uh emotions get super high. We can say all type of crazy stuff because we're behind a screen and a keyboard, but it's like, okay, these are two other fans.
Mhm.
um and sure, some more will come. We'll have guests come through. I think I told y'all before, we have we're looking for Next season, because it's been renewed for season 2, season 3, book 2, book 3. I'm gonna call them seasons, man. It's Netflix. They don't deserve
Yeah.
the title. They don't deserve book. But we're gonna get us a top next.
They don't read.
Nah, they don't. They don't. And we'll have a Zuko for the final season. Hopefully, we last long enough. But yeah, man, I've been enjoying this. Let me hurry up and breeze through the chat, because last time I think I forgot all about the chat and we just hopped right into it.
Yeah.
It's Jana's fault. She had to go.
Yeah, you can blame me. That's cool. I'll take it.
All right, Clarence P90, I'm liking the show. And man, there's things to like about this show, but overall,
Yeah, as much as we're gonna butcher this, it's you can like whatever you want. That's totally fine. I'm not gonna criticize you for liking something, but you're liking something bad. Just know that. that's fine. I like bad.
Yeah.
I like bad things too. It's fine. But the show is terrible.
I'm interested to know what people think of the show that haven't seen the animated series, though. Like if it's
Yeah, I would be curious. about
clouding
that.
judgment. I mean, I think it's still stupid, but is it as stupid?
Mhm.
Yeah, and that was my question to Caitlin, because he has some people on his panel who had not seen the animated series and watched the show, and from what he said, they still didn't like it. But I
Mhm.
mean, I really would like to pick the brains of some of these people who are just watching this for the first time, because my thing is, or I've been asking y'all, or I try to focus on is, does it have the spirit of the original? It's not a 1-for-1 adaptation.
Right, and
Although
that's fine.
Gord said it could be with the runtime, but I'm like, okay, are they at least getting the same points across? And do you feel the same way about these characters? We think all these characters are shit. Some of them have great casting, but the dialogue, the storytelling, like none of it's landing. So you're giving these people nothing to work with, honestly. But I don't know what I was going on about with that. But
I mean, honestly, like personally, I think whether you've seen the cartoon or not, and granted, I have many times, and yes,
Yeah.
it's natural to make comparisons. I've long been very very lenient towards adaptations. I mean, going into each new thing, I try to divorce myself from any idea of what something should be. It's like, if I've read the book, it's like, well, then it should be like this. I'm like, no. If this exists outside of it. It doesn't have to be a 1-to-1 adaptation. It doesn't have to do all of the stuff that the other one did. But whatever you're going to do differently or whatever you're going to do the same, it's like, okay, I'm going to judge you based on what you have done. I mean, if it works, great. If it doesn't, we'll have to call that out as it comes. And I try to, be one of those people that views things objectively. It's like, yes, I'll have my feelings towards it and I will admit those when they come, but I try to at least, it's like, okay, if something's good, I'm going to call it good. I try to divorce my feelings of it when I'm telling people about it. I think this show is objectively terrible. It's not just one that I feel bad about. I do think it's an objectively terrible show.
I think for me to honestly answer that, I have to watch it a second time, but all the way through.
Like, just to give people an idea of that, like, I think the cartoon objectively is not as great as most people hold it up. Because if you watch the cartoon and you really pick it apart, there's a ton of issues with it. And I mean, there's some episodes of that show that are actually quite bad in terms of how they're structured. But I still love the show. I think I could help. It's like, and yes, I could point out like reasons why I love it if I were to break it down. But it's like, there are a lot of issues with the cartoon that do hurt it at times. But other elements of the show, no pun intended, are so good I mean, you can understand why people overlook them, particularly how well the characters are written.
Mm-hmm.
I think character is the main thing that sells the cartoon. Is they have the characters are so much fun to listen to. The dialogue is really sharp and it hits its emotional notes really well. But there's quite a few silly like contrivances and plot conveniences in the cartoon where you're just like, whew, that could have been done a lot better.
I think you can forgive those because it is a kid show first.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, you certainly can, and I think most people do.
yeah.
I certainly think you can make a case that that's not a good excuse. I mean, that kids shows can be held to a similar, not a one-to-one standard, but a similar
Mhm.
standard where it's like you don't have to be illogical with the internal logical of the show to get the job done. Uh,
Well,
but
for example,
go ahead.
them going into Omashu the first time and Aang being the old person and them just like, oh, we're just this little family or whatever. Like it's for that, it's like, okay, we
Yeah,
can't give
yeah,
this
that kind of
adaptation.
silliness is fine because that's
Okay,
where
okay.
it's like comedies tend to exist within a realm of absurdity to a certain degree, and I think
Hmm.
that's where something like that is perfectly acceptable. But stuff like near the end of the cartoon where Aang really doesn't want to have to kill the Fire Lord, and then oh boom, they just happen to be really close to a floating lion turtle that gives him the ability to energy bend, and that keeps him from having to kill him just at the right time. It's like, whew,
Dude, the
that's not
the
good.
the cosmos, the world made that happen. Brought that lion turtle to Aang. He was drawn to his confusion in the avatar. Come on.
Yeah, and that is the excuse that people will often bring in. But like that episode, I'm like, gosh, if not for that part where Zuko reunites with Iroh and how beautiful that moment where they reunite is, that episode's bad.
Gore,
Uh,
gore.
but I mean, but
The
it's
lion
one
turtle
I'm
felt
fine.
the
I can forgive it though. I can forgive it. But
the
if I
lion
divorce
turtle.
myself from how I feel about the show, I would say, yeah, I would have written that, or I would have built up to it a different way because they just so happened to bring it up right then and there. And it's like you could have built that up a little better and it'll make a little more sense.
Gore, the lion turtle felt the emotions of the avatar. That's why the badger moles were able to feel emotions. They got it from the lion turtle. They just ain't tell you that, bro.
It's good stuff.
All right, man. We got to the second chat. And then we just went off on this whole little conversation. It's Gord's fault.
Yeah, it is my fault. It is my fault.
It's not my fault this time. That's good.
Not Jana. Okay. Blame AJ for something soon. Because both of them got strikes. When I see Mooper's sign, I think about the Iron Giant was already Down syndrome Superman. So and then you got Bizarro. So Mooper's sign, you gotta I don't know, man. Get more down. Set yourself apart from those two.
Extra down.
Extra down. Cajun Corey, what up, man? How you doing?
Hi, Corey.
Naggart, no. Oh, he can speak complete sentences.
Yay.
Maruda Chan, what is up? Hello, everyone. Did you enjoy Avatar? Maru, how you feeling about this show? I think I got butt paste in my eye. Yo, that was a comment from a long time ago. Hopefully you still don't have it, Copa, because I could get infected.
Yeah. It sounds like an unpleasant kind of sticky.
It's possible too with the baby.
The gore with the elements. Man, let me skip to okay. Now it's Fraud. AJ is too wrapped up in Yakubian history and forgot to hit live. Yakub, I'm not a descendant of Yakub. Okay, I'm a descendant of Anubis. So there you go.
Yakub's history is, I mean, he's kind of the first Avatar, really.
Oh my goodness.
Well, second. Jennifer Lawrence is the first.
Where does Matt Walsh come into this?
I'm sure if we don't know, he'll tell us.
Not this song. It's a remix, man. Check it out.
Aww.
I should post a link to the actual song. I sent it to the panelists so that they can enjoy it. I go to sleep to Iroh's voice, man. That we won't have anymore because rest in peace to his voice actor.
Do you fall asleep to his voice as Iroh or as the narrator from Conan?
You know what? I didn't even know about the switch. So I don't know. Okay, the first quote he's talking to Toph, and when he's saying, I, I can't love you. I don't even know you. Or some shit like that. But when he was talking to Toph, when Toph met him for the first time, he was saying like my nephew was lost, and she was like, oh, but you're still there for him. Like, good stuff. Good. Um, well, he didn't know that she was Team Gang at the time, but I was about to say, Gord, there you go. That's another interaction where he's just chilling with Team
Well, he
Avatar.
doesn't know. He doesn't really know who she
Yeah,
is. That's the part.
Yeah.
They build up well to those encounters
Yeah,
where
they
they're
became
actually
friends.
where they're actually discussing their sides, and there's some peace coming between them, unlike what we're
yeah.
gonna see here. But yeah, like Mako, when he passed, I mean, he had recorded most of the dialogue for season 2, so whenever it's a little different, it's easy to miss that there's a change. It's not, and if you actually watch season 3 when he's in prison, they don't have him talk for quite a long time.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a
Bro,
while before you realize it's changed.
the prison scene, man. It's gonna be a while before we even get to see this from this adaptation. Dude, it's not gonna be the same. It's not gonna be nowhere near it. Because when he was I'm just thinking about when he was in prison and he was working out and he was like doing the sit-ups with the claps, and then when the soldiers came in, he was just acting like he was just this crazy old man, just clapping. And oh my goodness, man, that was smart. That was beautiful.
You don't think they're gonna be able to get this actor to beef up like that? You think they're gonna be able to pull that off? I have my doubts on that one.
Boomy's barely buff under his clothes.
Yeah,
so
that was supposed to be like a surprise.
Well,
and it was like, oh, okay, he's got armpit hair. That's cool.
Boomy has plenty of issues top to bottom.
Yeah.
Man, Boomy in the animated series, he was all hunched over. You just thought he was a frail old man. He took that coat off, stood up straight, got the crack in them bones, flexing them muscles, man. And this dude just take his jacket off. You work out, okay? I expect that from somebody lifting rocks. Oh man, no freakish strength, no bizarro strength like Mooper saying coming to the channel with
down strength.
No down strength at all. Oh man. Okay, Nosferatu, Squeakle Mouse.
I think in this show it's Avatar strength.
Avatar strength.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, Squeaker, wipe those tears. Stand strong. Go from a mouse to a rat.
Yeah.
And bigger, stronger, I guess. What? I'm actually enjoying reviewing this show. Rocket Power, I mean, that's something. I do want to lean more into animation. I think that's the direction that I definitely need to go. I tell everybody this, where I keep saying it's like a bunch of us grown ass people are bitching about, oh, my series, my franchise, woe is me. But it's like, okay, what about the kids though? Like, what do they have to look forward to? They are the future, and if the enemy has a hold of them, then we've already lost. So, are you begging for your stuff to be saved? They have nothing to look forward to or to enjoy. So, Rocket Power. Beloved, did I miss? Tag, you're it. What's up, Beloved? Hey, homies. And then Nas with the, you can't say homies. Nas, you can't tell somebody they can't say homies. You ain't got that pass. I'm holding up the Family Guy, the skinometer. You don't pass. What's up, Gooch? Yo, what's up, everyone? Gooch could be Uncle Iroh, but he said, damn, this show. He said he saw Aang flying. He said no. I can know. I know what to expect. I appreciate those balls of steel, Gooch. I've had them in other places. I fell into the Avatar, man. I had to see what this was about. That's funny. Just seeing him see the trailer, or imagining him see that trailer and Aang's flying, because we all, we was like taken aback by it. I was like, what is he doing? How is this possible? And even though there's the Korra haters, I'm like, bro, everything Zahir talked about and worked towards is just Aang does it just so easily. Oh my goodness. Okay. I'm sorry. Oh my goodness. Leave the monster stuff over there, man. Don't bring that on the stream. Cocaina.
Mm.
I wish I could pee my name in the snow. You know what? It's a gift. I'm glad the Lord made me a guy. If I
Yeah.
was a woman, oh my goodness, I'd be depressed.
I mean, you can still dot your I's if you want. But that's about it, I guess.
I mean, some women have control. Y'all know that scene from Step Brothers when she lifts the leg up, pees in the urinal. Some people don't like Will Ferrell, Nas, but
A lot of people don't. It's interesting.
Will Ferrell for me is just,
crazy.
I don't dislike him, but he's overrated.
Oh my goodness,
He yells a lot. He just yells a lot, and I'm like, that's only funny sometimes. He has great moments, but then there's other moments where I'm like, it doesn't work.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Nas, at least you giving me underage humans and not human dog furry hybrid things. So maybe I'm moving up in y'all's eyes charts or whatever. Who else? Dildo, can't forget that. Just penetrating the stream. What's up, Dildo? Jacob Ironside, how you doing, sir? How you doing? Did I get everybody? I'm going down. I can't read the chat. I said, what's up, the Cajun Corey? Logical Spot, what's up, bro? Hey, Squeaker, Jacob, all that good stuff. I haven't watched the show. I knew it was gonna suck. Sa. Sa. Watch it. Watch it, Maru. Still watch it. For sure.
Sometimes you just gotta hate watch stuff.
Yeah.
Are we hate watching this show? I'm not hate watching.
I don't. Yeah,
No.
I don't. I mean, I watched this show to start with because I was curious about it genuinely, but I followed through because, I mean, look, it's not a bad thing to watch bad content if you're. I mean, especially if you're trying to learn how to review stuff, or you want to keep the iron sharp. There's value in both. So yeah.
Dildo, it depends on how old the voice actor is.
Oh my gosh.
I'm going with that one.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, skip through the comments. I think that's everybody that's here. Okay. Stop banning people, Nas. Cut that out. You made angry Canadian never come back to my stream out of fear of you and the power you hold. Who gave this? I need to make that. Y'all, that scene from Django where he's with Samuel Jackson, like, who let this N-word up on that nag? I need that, but I need me say who let this vampire, that's Nosferatu, up on the nag. Who let this vampire hold that wrench? Ban anyone, bitch ass, you're cool. Bitch ass undead. All right, Jenna. Take it away. You got it.
Oh, hello.
My bad. I just
Why is
threw
this?
you up there.
There we go.
Hide the porn. Hide the porn.
Ah!
I didn't even know it was there.
All right, Johnny, get it together.
Okay. Can you see it? Am I not?
I just took it down so you can get it together. I kind of just.
I had it like split screen, so it should be good.
Okay, going forward. Man, I'm kind of. I'm not gonna say dismissing the show or disinterested. That's the word I should have. But I was like, what the fuck? When I ain't get in prison, but yeah, the whole fight.
I did the same thing. I had to go back to the other episode and like, wait,
Yeah.
I is this the next episode? Am I skipping ahead? Like, I was so confused.
Yeah, Gordon did it. Did they like wrap the earth around his feet and he was called? And I know Iroh like sacrificed himself or distracted him so Zuko could get out.
I mean, it's not the worst transition from episode to episode. Like, I mean, I got the impression he was going to go to prison after episode 3, so naturally this is just they're starting it here, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. But and I quickly for I didn't really have a whole lot of time to think about how good or bad it was, just because they immediately are having Aang and Iroh converse, and I was like, ooh, I'm not sure that's a good idea this early. So I was more focused on that. But it's him being in prison right off the bat. I'm like, okay, that's fine. They let a little bit of time go by and show the next most important events. Like I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Yeah. Except when he's talking to Iroh and he immediately knows that he's a good person. Like, he'll listen to you. You should talk to him. He'll listen to you. Like, how do you know that?
Yeah, it's yeah, but like before he's like, I'm starting to see what kind of person he really is. It's
Right.
like his it's
Right.
like, okay. This is some rough dialogue. It's a bad situation to put these characters in this quickly. Because it's like, gosh, you're all taking the you're all kind of taking them being enemies out of the show already. It's like this isn't a good way to do this, because obviously Iroh and Zuko are going to be reunited. They are going to keep chasing, and I'm like, I don't like the idea of them liking each other during this chase. That makes it silly. That makes it really silly.
Yeah.
So, am I remembering this correctly? But Aang actually talked to Zuko before Iroh. The
Little
blue
bit, yeah.
spirit, when he had to save him, he was like, maybe we could have been friends. And I remember Zuko didn't even respond with words. He like immediately threw a fireball.
When you say they conversed before, do you mean they conversed together before Aang and Iroh ever conversed in the cartoon?
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
Okay, so I think we haven't gotten to the blue spirit episode. I remember waking up and seeing some of that, but no, we haven't gotten to the blue spirit. So yeah, man, we jumping the gun, we jumping the fireball, jumping the lightning with this one.
I don't even think the whole tunnels thing is until season 2 in the cartoon.
Thank you, Squeaka.
Later, Squeaka.
Is it season 2?
I believe so. It's because they
kind
come
of
back
meshed together.
because they come back to Omashu in season 2 when he gets obviously they make Katara his water bending master, and they're like, okay, well let's head to Omashu, and then maybe Bumi can be your earth bending master.
So it is in season 1.
Yeah, I don't think the secret tunnel thing is in.
No, it's in season 1.
It is in season 1. Yeah, you were watching it earlier today, right? So
yeah, it's later season 1, but yeah, it happened, and that's why I said, like, okay, by this time, Aang knows water bending, like he's pretty good, and Katara is way better than Splash and the Badger mode. Like that just pissed me off, man.
No, I was right. The Cave of Two Lovers episode is the second episode of season 2.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
that so that aspect of it they moved all the way to here, that was interesting. I was like, "Whoo, this is all right." we're coming here.
Am I the only one who realized this actor was like really, really young?
Oh yeah, well
in this episode,
I knew it because I know him from he's the guy from Community, so I was like, he can't be that old.
Yeah.
He's one of the few actors that was recognizable to me.
I didn't notice that last episode.
Yeah, I don't know.
See it
looks
now.
like I mean, I guess you have parents at middle 20s.
He's older than his 20s. I mean, he's old enough to be a father to a kid this young. It's just they're presenting him as being much older than he is, it seems.
Yeah.
With that horrible prosthetic beard.
Yeah.
Nas, maybe if I could have actually seen the lesbians, then it could have been my favorite part of the adaptation, but we just get ink drawings on the wall.
I will say this, since you brought up the whole how it's fun not to critique the show on levels of like, oh, is it woke, is it not? I mean, if you're interested in that conversation, this probably has the quote unquote wokest element to it. And granted, I spent plenty of time making fun of that part because I was like, yeah, it's definitely shoehorned in here that Oma and Shu are lesbians, and so I just started calling Omashu Sodom and Gomorrah just for the heck of it. But this is probably about as, and even this I would say is not like horribly overt. I mean, granted, I guess you could say Katara is a bit girl bossy, but you know, it's
Bro, she's not girl bossy here. She's just fucking annoying.
yeah. The only
Like,
kind of girl bossy moment she gets in this is that really brief conclusion to her and Jet's story. I mean, they just have one scene, they close that up real quick, and I was like, okay,
Yeah, they did.
that was from
yeah.
me. I was like, all right.
So, correct me if I'm wrong, but him and Aang didn't have a real like combative interaction in this adaptation. So I think we were talking about it with Fenrir about how like that Jet versus Aang fight was, not really a fight. Aang was just trying to like dodge, move around. He really didn't want to fight Jet. Somebody
He said
seemingly
that,
innocent.
yeah.
Yeah, but so I mean, like they gave the fight technically to Katara.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I wasn't feeling that, but
I don't
yeah,
remember if he
man,
didn't want to fight Jet. I mean, they certainly fought a bit, but
oh, he was just
In
running
the
from Jet. He was trying to
yeah,
die,
he was like, I don't want to fight you.
hmm.
And he was like,
but
you're gonna have to, buddy.
Yeah.
and she just splashes him. That's all she does is splash. Like she doesn't even know the water whip yet, man. Oh, this Katara, she's amazing at one point when they needed her to be, and now she just
Yeah.
back to this.
I mean, the level she's at in the show, as opposed to the cartoon, it's not necessarily that they're far off. It's just because like Katara started the cartoon more advanced, whereas the Katara in
Yeah.
this show, they started like right at the back of the line, like couldn't do anything. So it's
Yeah.
like, okay, it seems like she's advanced way too quickly. Which that's such a bizarre choice. It's like, you didn't have to make her, start at that place. It's like you
No,
could
yeah,
have
you
made
had
her
time.
understand certain things. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just they've gone about it really,
Have her
really
progress
weird.
naturally. Yeah.
Yeah, and they haven't really justified it because obviously in the cartoon they actually show her train, they show her struggle, working her way to this point, whereas in this it's none of that. Like Aang actually starts a little bit as her teacher, and that justifies how she starts to advance a bit. This they're like, no, she's just once she figures out. I don't even know what she figures out, to be perfectly honest. Just remember your mother. Oh my gosh, I'm a great waterbender.
Yeah. 'Cause during the pirate episode, she was trying to teach Aang, and he was like, "Oh, this is easy. What
Yeah.
else you got? What's next?"
Yeah.
And she
It was
just
a point of contention between the two of them.
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
for Katara anyway, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And here it is. She can barely move the fucking water, man. It's annoying. I need my girl bossing a little harder. I completely missed that scene where he did remember Boomy. But I did say it on the last stream when they went to Omashu, there was no mention of Boomy at all.
No.
But you would think that, not trying to compare it to the original, but he's like, "Oh, I had a friend here. I had so much fun. I have all these amazing memories of Omashu. Ooh, riding the little roller coaster mail system, or just all that good
Yeah.
stuff, and just none of that." And it gets worse for me later on in the show when he gives Boomy the thing around
The
his
thing,
neck.
yeah. The whistle or whatever it was.
Yeah, yeah. I guess I was trying not to spoil it or go there too fast, but it's like, hold on, bro. You had that on this entire time, and you just have not mentioned this dude at all.
And
Yeah.
Nagurno, that's part of why I don't like what they've done with Katara is her being motherly in the cartoon is a huge part of her character. She's kind of playing several
Mhm.
roles at once, kind of the mother of the group, kind of the sister of the group. Obviously, she's Aang's romantic interest. They've kind of killed all of that.
All of that's gone. Yes.
She's really just kind of in it for herself.
She's the sister, maybe?
Yeah,
Maybe?
like they do the sister thing, and that's really about it. Like her and
Definitely.
Aang, basically, I mean, they don't really have a relationship at this point.
Mm-mm.
I mean, they're telling you they do, and I'm like, you're not showing me any relationship between these two characters. It's really odd.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
we'll see that or lack of a relationship even more with the cave of two lovers.
Mm-hmm.
What's up, Cult Classic Cage?
What up?
Cassie.
Classic, you watch Avatar? I know y'all was doing the DBZ stream. Some American anime for your ass.
Animated in Korea, I think. I'm not positive of that. I think it's animated in Korea.
It was Koreans.
Yeah.
Oh, nice, Sammy. What was I talking to Sammy? Was it this stream or was it in somebody else's stream, like Zax's or something? But yeah, man, I'm trying to bring the Avatar fans out the woodwork. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
We know, yeah, it's.
I was streaming with I streamed with Sammy on Thursday on Roman's show.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And he and
So
I've
this
talked
part.
we've talked on X a few times, but yeah. I'm gonna have to get him on my show. I'm gonna have to send him my I've got some openings left for some of my upcoming April through June shows.
Yes, Gordon, you did send me that. I never
I did.
responded. My bad. I'll get back with you
And
tonight.
Jen, as I'm learning your schedule, obviously, here, because obviously y'all have got a baby, so I'm like trying to be sensitive to that. But yeah, I'll send it to you all too, no problem.
What's happening here, man? This episode sucks.
It does.
Oh, he's like, yeah, I did it. I fucked up. But Dad's got to do what he got to do.
This dialogue is so clunky because he's like, there's no tunnels, and they're like, it's like you said there were. Okay, there are, but nobody comes at him. It's like, all right, it's like okay, that you could have just started with, okay, yeah, there are, but they're really dangerous. You didn't have to say no, there's not.
Yeah, that was strange. It was like a time filler almost. Yeah.
Okay, we were talking about this before the stream. Now we knew from the animated series that the different nations were kind of like based off of different nationalities or cultures in our real world.
Mm-hmm.
But here they're making the earthbenders I said Middle Eastern. I guess that's the wrong term. What are they? No,
I think they're
Western Eastern.
I wouldn't say there's a one-to-one comparison. I think Boomy is very clearly Indian, and not 7-Eleven, not Rain Dance. But
yeah, let's make the distinction because I'm not too clear. But apparently,
the dot on the forehead and not the
9/11.
feathers.
Yeah,
Got it.
Fire Nation is very Asian, obviously. Very Chinese, Korean, Japanese. Pick one.
Korean, yeah,
Pick one of them. I want to say Korean because I know Daniel Day Kim is Korean, but
Yeah,
Zuko doesn't look. I'm not sure if he's Korean, to be honest.
I don't know.
I couldn't quite tell.
Can we just say Chinese?
Yeah.
And then in M. Night's movie, they were all Indian.
Yeah, and obviously, and the Water Tribe was based on the Inuit.
Yeah.
Which I think that sticks pretty
That's
close
normal.
to that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you got your airbenders are kind of, they're your Buddhist monk types.
More Asians.
Mm-hmm. This guy obviously is more. I mean, he can pass as Indian. I don't know if this actor is Indian because I want to say he's played more than one nationality before, but I get the sense they're going for Indian with the Earthbenders.
Big chin, iceberg chin.
Oh, his jaw. It's rough. He needs the beard.
He's just not funny, man. This Sokka is boring on screen. I don't care if he's on screen. Original Sokka, I need him on screen. What would Sokka do?
The original Sokka was like the glue to the show.
He's my favorite character on the cartoon. He's funny. He's the one that has to get by without the powers. Has a an underrated courageousness about him because he fights without powers. I mean, it's like, yeah, I love Sokka
Yes.
on the show, and here it's just like he's kind of annoying.
Bro, I just had the episode on for my dogs. They watching it. And it's when Azula and her, Ty Lee and May, when they meet up, going after Sokka and Katara, and I think they was going after him in the ship, and they couldn't get any sleep. And Ty Lee fucked Katara up, and she was like, "Yeah, try fighting without your bending." And then Sokka's flying on Appa. He throws the boomerang, knocks the little daggers or whatever it was, throwing knives that May had, and he was like, I get by pretty well, without it. I'm just
I
like,
loved it.
Yeah. Talking his shit, entering the fight with his boomerang. Oh man, Sokka that one. I'm Sokka, y'all. I'm Sokka. Gorgeous Aang, sure, chosen one, the chosen one. What is that from?
Oh gosh, how to trace back the origins of the chosen one? That'd be a tall order. I can't even imagine where that started.
And Qatar, Janice Qatar. That's my sister. I'm getting on her ass. Blame her for everything.
Why don't you take me seriously?
It's the hair loopies. Who enters fights with hair loopies?
She
Katara, does say
I guess.
Yeah. Katara, she seems to get by okay.
What's up, Miss Sassy? Man, that's something I was thinking about, and we'll talk about it, I guess, after the stream. But because I know Miss Sassy, she does her stream, or Cannoli. Anyway, I don't think we're taking away from their audience.
No, I think they're finished now.
Yeah, I'm like, maybe, I don't know, moving it to Saturday, see how y'all feel about that.
I think they only do interviews every other week or once a month. I think
it's every week. I think it's every week.
I don't think they've done an interview every week, have they? Yeah.
It's their spot, though. We'll talk about it. Hey, we got a whole season 2 and 3 to figure it out, so.
Yeah.
Boomy with this big-ass goddamn turban on his head, man.
I can't stand his makeup. His makeup and prosthetics, I can't stand it.
I can't stand everything. Like, you want to talk about an issue with tone. His whole character is that personified. Holy crap! This is a
crabby old man.
I was shocked how horribly they butchered his character. I mean, he's a freaking mess,
and he's one of the best characters.
As far as side characters are concerned, he's so much fun, and they destroyed him.
Yeah. I know this is like nitpicky because we're comparing the original show to this, but like the fact that he told him who he was, or divulged to him who he was right at the beginning, really bothered me.
Oh no, that's not a nitpick at all, because that changes the dynamic of the interaction, like from the outset.
Yeah,
and I mean, because, gosh, some of the dialogue here is so bad. Because eventually there's a scene where he's like, the Boomy I know wouldn't be like this. You can't convince me that you've lost hope. And he says, "Challenge accepted." And I'm like, you've accepted the challenge to show that you're hopeless? Okay.
Hope is hard. Like
oh my gosh.
Hello, Ms. Martin uses.
Like, whatever my expectations were coming into this episode for how bad certain things were gonna be, Boomy's changes shocked me. I was like, how did you mess him up this badly?
And aren't they supposed to kind of portray him right now as being like small and frail and old? Like the giant cat does not do that. Like
yeah, you're not supposed to know who he is. You're supposed to get the impression that he's frail and kooky, but that his challenge, that the challenges he gives him are, they're meaningful, and but he's capable, he's good. It's like, no, he's not capable here. He's hopeless and he's angry, and it's like nothing about his character makes really a lick of sense. And I'm like, gosh, what did you all do to him? This is
As as well as one of his challenges. Oh man, I love Boomy because he loved the animals. Like he placed an importance on the
Mhm.
animal sidekicks.
He did.
So this is like Disney brought to life, like incorporated into this series for me. But in this, one of the challenges was bring me my pet Flopsy.
Yes.
No fucking Flopsy, man.
Well,
There was no Flopsy.
he had Flopsy statues.
Yeah,
Those
right here.
Flopsy statues behind him, which
I didn't even
I knew when
know.
I saw those. I was like, okay, they're not gonna have Flopsy in the episode. This is them, and I'm okay with that because that's probably a difficult scene to film. Probably and definitely would have cost a lot of money. It would have been cool. I didn't necessarily think you had to do it, but yeah,
You
it's
didn't.
that's the least of my issues with what they did to him.
It's an issue of mine because again, Boomy, he placed an importance on your animal sidekicks, and throughout the series, Momo and Appa is like saving these dudes. Um,
Well,
like
that's an
even with
issue with the whole show, really. The Appa and Momo really aren't all that big a part of this.
yeah, they aren't characters. Like
They're there.
I'm thinking about the Roku Shrine where they had Momo to squeeze under the door to be the shadow to trick the sages into thinking
Oh
that they were
yeah.
there. So I'm like, these characters are way more important than just animals that are there. But here, because of budget, then
Put it this way, and I'm okay with sharing this. It's not fully spoilery. It's more foreshadowing, I guess, and y'all might forget it by the time we get to it. But they so underutilize Appa and Momo that there is one moment for one of them that should be really big. That should be like kind of like, oh my gosh, but they've so underutilized them up to that point that it's jarring in the wrong way. It ends up feeling very forced because they haven't really turned them into characters yet. They're just kind of their pets.
Right.
yeah, and the video I showed y'all because I was watching the Cave of Two Lovers episode, and Momo had to go with Sokka and the hippies, and Aang was with Appa was with Aang and Katara. So then as all of the humans are talking like, oh, how did y'all get out? How did y'all get out? Momo flew to Appa, and then you see Momo telling Appa the story of what they went through. And I'm like, bro, that's something that's not necessary, but it's so appreciated. And you're actually showing that, okay, these characters, it's like, again, like with the Disney movies. It's like you think I wanted an animal growing up so bad because I believed what Disney told me. Like these animals know exactly what the hell you talking about, what you want, all of that. So I'm like, okay, you see this from this show, and that's just not there until they need to go somewhere, and then Appa flies by. And okay,
This little
Pretty much,
scene
yeah.
here should have been in the last episode. Why they didn't go ahead and just
yes.
close out the
Yeah,
Katara
that
jet
was
thing in that
strange.
episode was really. I was like, did y'all like? It almost felt
I
like
forgot.
they did the third episode, they finished it, and they were like, oh crap, we forgot to
Yeah.
finish that. Here, put it here because this scene is kind of out of place with the rest of it.
Maru, all of the Avatar games suck. I'm
The
just
only thing I
saying.
remember about the
Oh, that's a
Avatar game
shame.
is the 360 one where you get all of the achievement points in like 5 minutes. That's all I
Oh,
remember about it.
I remember
You can
playing each
you
of
can
them.
literally get all 1,000 achievement points in like 5 minutes, like at the very beginning of the game. I was like, oh my gosh, that's insane.
Talking about the animals though, the badger moles did look good.
Yeah,
There was
I was
only
like,
one
oh,
though.
good. I'm there. Yeah, just one.
Yeah, most of the creatures are more or less fine looking.
Yeah.
The
And
ostrich
they
boys
mentioned
just
that they were the first earthbenders. They didn't mention that they taught earthbending, but that they were the first ones.
they did say that because I had to go and like fact check that when I watched the episode.
Mm.
They did say it
Earthbending
and taught
is
them.
born of
Oh,
lesbians.
Yeah,
in the
lesbians is an
exposition
earthbender.
scene. Got it. Before you go into that tunnel, let's look at this map over here that's right here in your face.
I thought this was really silly because this is live action and the cultures are visually distinct. how you not look at how is this guard not looking at Zuko like you're not from around here at all? It's like there's
Bro,
a
I've never
pretty
seen you
big
before.
difference in how they look. Never mind that he's clearly short and very young, but it's like, dude, you're not from here. It's
You
like,
know what? I didn't realize it. Maybe I did like watching the episode, but when Jana just went from Zuko to the soldier, I was like, yeah, there's a clear cultural difference there.
oh my gosh. It's like I mean, that look should have been like, dude, come on. You're, no. You couldn't have at least applied a little bit more brown face to fool me. Come on, dude.
Some facial hair, maybe.
Maybe scar up the rest of your face. Something. Give me
Throw some
something.
soot on it, some dirt on it. This big ass turban, man. Where's the crazy hair? Just
Yeah, they went, and this is another thing. It's like that's the kind of design you apply to a character when you're going for more childish. When you're going for a little bit more silly and lighthearted, but yeah, it's just they'll go from that to being really really serious.
This character belonged in a Mike Myers what are those movies called? He belonged in. You know what I'm talking about?
Halloween.
the disguise
No.
one with the
That Mike
turtle,
Myers, right?
dude.
The gold member thing, like.
Oh, Austin Powers.
Oh, Austin
yeah.
Yes, Austin Powers. Like he belongs in an Austin Powers movie.
I'm talking about the Master of Disguise. That's what I was thinking about.
Maybe
That's
that. Yeah,
Dana
too.
Carvey.
Yeah.
That's a Dana Carvey one. Yeah, almost forgot about
okay.
that.
But then okay, you talking about this disguise. One of the was it a challenge where Boomy was just messing with Aang, but he was like, "How do you like my outfit?"
Yeah, he does ask him that.
So I'm like, you could have threw that joke into this one and just like, okay, he's just putting this on just to be a weirdo, just to have some fun. I'm the king. Who's gonna tell me otherwise? Like,
Yeah, but like Janice said, like they've already laid their cards on the table that they know each other,
ooh.
and the entire dynamic of this is just it's gone. So
Mhm.
to me,
How
it's
are
like,
you
okay,
still so
once you've
young?
done that, it should be just a question of, okay, are you on my side or are you not on my side?
Right.
There's no point to stretching this question out further, because it's like, okay, they know who they know each other. So this just becomes pure filler at this point. It's silly. It's not, this is a horribly constructed dynamic that they've achieved here. It's really amazing.
So apparently this was one of the tests where he asked Aang, what does he want to eat? And Aang was like, well, I'll just go for the stew. I'm vegetarian. He was like, you are. Yes.
And I'm like,
So
okay.
weird.
I'm like, all right. So
Yeah, what did you prove?
That aren't all airbenders vegetarians? I mean, it's just like you proved that he's an airbender. Maybe with his outfit alone, but I mean,
it's Scott Pilgrim shares the same universe as this show. So by Aang being a vegan,
don't make my brain
vegetarian, we don't want the Avatar to lose his powers by eating meat.
The Avatar he has the 4 elements, but when he's an airbender, he has the 5th power, vegan power.
The 5th power. Korra cut them off from vegan power.
Oh no. But yeah,
yes, you are a vegetarian.
Must have been.
I'm like, what? It's like, what are you
years.
testing? You know he's Aang. You know he's Aang. He's even already told everyone he's not just an airbender. He's the Avatar. He knows who this kid is, and he's said it explicitly. So I'm like, what's this little quote unquote test? Does not mean a single thing. It's so stupid.
Bro, the rock candy scene that's coming up, like that shit was.
That was crazy.
Because obviously in the cartoon, what they're doing at the dinner table is that he's basically just treating. He obviously hasn't revealed who he is. He's treating him like a guest, and he uses this little scene at the dinner table to kind of catch him off guard, to where he uses airbending to stop something from hitting him, and he's like, and that's where he announces to everyone that he's the Avatar. And then he, ends the conversation where he goes, "So, what do you have to say for yourself now, Mr. Pippin Paddleopsicopoulos?" And it's like it's done well in the cartoon. Here it's just like, what's the
Yeah.
point of this?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like,
Yeah, there's no point because we've already established what we need to establish.
yeah, the buildup of the show was him figuring out, oh shit, you're my friend Boomy. The guy that I've been telling Katara and Sokka about. You're just an old crazy man now.
Yeah, it's like they're trying to touch on, well, he's been like Boomy's mad. It's like, oh, you've missed out on the last 100 years, and I'm angry about that. And I'm like, y'all have already hit on this before.
Everyone seems to be upset about this. Yes.
Yeah, it's like we've touched on this in the show before. Let's move on already. Not every character it's like, okay, I don't mind certain characters bringing it up, but
Yeah.
you all keep hitting these exact same character beats over and over and over again, and it's tiresome because I'm like, you're not letting anybody develop here. It's stupid.
Someone's got to be excited, right? Like,
Yeah, and it's just like
Avatar's
and
been
it's like-
missing for 100 years. You should be excited.
and it's one of those things where it's like, dude, I was frozen the whole time. What do you want me to do? I feel like
Right.
most adults would be like, okay,
Right.
that actually makes sense. That's fine.
You couldn't get out of that. Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, that was my issue with Boomy.
And they don't know he like ran.
Yeah. It's like he was like, I wasn't running, I was joyriding, and I got frozen. Sorry, I didn't mean for it to happen.
Yeah, the Avatar states this weird shit that I know nothing about just took over.
Right. Just learned about it.
You may have missed it.
Happens
I'm
before.
12. I'm freaking 12. I hate when problems have an obvious dialogue solution that nobody says, and it's like,
Right.
Stop it.
Same here, man. Since you were talking about Will Ferrell, and I just started thinking about Seth Rogen and just like all of those guys that like group. I hate in what romantic comedies when they're growing through something, and if the dude just actually explained to the woman what happened, then it will solve all the problems.
Mhm. Oh, it's not even just in rom-coms. Like this has become kind of a pervasive trope in all kinds of movies now, to where it's like, if you just explain it a little better, everything's should be okay, or at the very least they've lost the quote unquote moral high ground that they may have at this point. But it's like nobody ever wants to be clear in the dialogue just so we can force conflict.
They just get tongue tied, and, or they just don't say it for whatever the fuck reason. I'm like, bro, just say it, man. This movie will be over like 20 extra minutes.
It annoys it's so lazy. It is so lazy. But yeah, this like him and Boomy, their interactions, like, yeah, y'all could have solved this over this little dinner here. But nope.
You're right, dude. No,
Let's just write it horribly. Let's just write it really horribly.
Yeah, it's yeah. Yeah. It's bad writing. I agree.
No flopsy, man. That upsets me because then and it's just a joke. I forgot the bear's name, but the bear, and it was like platypus bear, and they started naming all these type
Gopher
of bears.
bear?
Like,
Yeah.
it's like-
No, just bear. This place is weird. But,
Yeah.
I mean, that wouldn't be till later anyway, but so they'll probably butcher that, I'm sure.
I just know it's not going to be there. It's not coming.
Not well, at least. But yeah, why they didn't just go ahead and have the whole episode in Boomy's palace like before, I really don't get why they would even opt to do something different. Like, okay, you have Tara and Sokka have been involved in stuff. You could have written this to where they all just get arrested and you just have the whole episode there. But it's like, well, they just wanted to do the cave of two lesbians, and and instead of having it develop Katara and Aang's, feelings for one another, no, we'll just put Sokka and Katara there, and they keep trying to force this, sibling rivalry thing, and it's cringeworthy. The dialogue
very
they
forced.
start
I agree.
arguing, it's like, stop it. It's not
so
good.
So two things with this one. The Cave of Lovers, and I noticed it back in Maleficent. And I think that was the start of a lot of this stuff, especially when it came to kids media, where true love's kiss has taken on a different meaning. So it was Maleficent kissing what's her name? Aerith, and I don't know, whoever that chick was. But it was like, okay, it's still love. So it gets the point across. And here they exchange Katara and Aang loving each other for Sokka and Katara. So it's just sibling love that gets the job done.
Creepy.
Um I didn't think about it like that, but
it-
yeah.
Like when they first started, I was like, "Why are Katara and Sokka here?" It's like, what are we going for, Netflix?
Oh man, I
It
did not
turns
think
out
about that.
it turns out incest will lead the way. It's like,
All right,
no.
Gord. God
Oh
dang.
boy.
I'm just saying when they started this episode, I'm like, I don't think they're gonna do that, but unfortunately, the option has been put on the table. I don't even want it on the table right now. I was like,
Look,
I
if it
know
was,
it's not gonna do this, but this
if it
is
was a
about
cousin, we could. If it was
the
a
cave of
cousin, we
two
could talk about
lovers.
it.
It's the cave of two lovers, and it's like, why are you doing this with Sokka and Katara? That's it's weird.
I forgot the other point I was trying to make though, but
Yes, Jacob,
anyway.
that is yes.
Yeah,
Oma and Shu
Jacob, yes.
are women. Are women. So lesbianism is the origin of earthbending, and Omashu is Sodom and Gomorrah.
It's the gayest element.
Yeah, they combined rock with scissors.
And that's why Kiyoshi is a girl boss, because lesbians rule.
I'm never treating Earth Day the same.
I don't know, man. Just earth bending with vagina, dry, crumbly. I don't know, man. Maybe we should have went water bending route with that one.
That squat stance that the earthbenders take just has a whole new connotation to it.
Open your legs to the element.
The badgers are blind, but they can sense same-sex attraction.
Shit, the badger mole's gay too. I'm assuming. There was only one.
Or
it was
brother,
non-binary.
sister. Or brother sister.
I'll give the show a little bit of credit for this. The musicians are a pretty good comp to the cartoon version. I was like, yeah, this is about as good as you can hope for the musicians being in it. I probably, for adapting this to live action, would have left them out. If I'm going for a more serious tone, I probably leave them out, or maybe just kind of have them as a background thing you maybe see in passing. It's like a kind of an Easter egg, but since they put them in, I'm like, yeah, this is about what they'd be.
Yeah,
but they
you're
were
fine. Whatever.
they were there and then they were gone, man. It's
Mhm.
just like with the cabbages. It's like, okay, it's there, but then it's gone. It doesn't stick like the original. It means nothing. It's just something that happened.
If you're gonna go into that tunnel, you should look at this first.
Oh no, the lesbian thing. It's secret tunnels. Oh no.
What is it?
Ew.
The what did it say? Have you heard about, because they keep talking about this Yakubian shit, but some religion where they're like, is it Jehovah Witnesses? Have you heard about something? And then I'm like, that's just the same feeling I get with these guys. Well, have you heard about lesbianism? Have you been introduced to same-sex couples? If not, then let me show you.
It took me a second. I was like, where are you going with this?
Let me show you this book. Yeah.
Have we told you about our lesbians and saviors, Oma and Shu? Oh man. It's
Mormons. It's a Mormons. Some religion where
more mans. No. This is definitely
Oh.
less mans.
more mans.
This is less mans.
I was low-key hoping that like they were gonna run into Aang somehow in the tunnels and then make it work still, but
Yeah, because you could have maybe done a thing where like maybe Aang in the dungeon escapes and is escaping from the other end of the tunnels, and then they meet up. I mean, you could have
Yeah.
done something like that, but yeah, this is where I started, where you kind of realize the Aang Katara romance angle. They're just not doing it here. I mean, there is maybe a tiny hint at the end that they might start to veer into that territory in later seasons. And look, yes, I get it. It's kids and kids of romance. It's kind of silly, but it doesn't change that that's a massive motivator, particularly for Aang throughout the show, is his, how he feels about Katara. You know, it's
Yeah.
like, look, kids having a crush on that's fine. You can show that. You don't have to be
Normal.
weird
Yeah,
about it.
they should
Uh,
have done it, man.
you know, obviously in season 1, I mean, there's only, you know, Aang is very much more the one crushing on her, and she only occasionally has little hints where you can see she might feel the same way, but it
Yeah.
takes longer for her to show it. But yeah, they've nerfed that completely from the show in
And they've
season
had
1.
opportunities for sure, but yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's gone.
Why
So
are
are
you
you
still
Caitlin?
watching? That's a good question, 199. But yeah, we gotta trudge through. We can't let the Fire Nation win.
Yeah, man, we're gonna finish strong, see it
Right.
through.
If we quit now, the terrorists win.
We have to help
Yo,
the Avatar.
we're bringing balance to the media world.
Yeah. But here we start to get
Bro, this was so disappointing.
like it's not necessarily a terrible idea that the Earth soldiers kind of hash out why they
Yeah.
hate Iroh. I don't think that's a bad
Boston say,
idea, but
yeah.
it's again, this is the kind of like what they do here in isolation. This little conversation he has with him, which granted they've got it in several pieces. This is just the first part of it, but
Mhm.
in isolation, this is not a bad idea. And this guy who's doing this is actually a decent actor. And I was like,
Yeah.
gosh, I was like, if you treated this show as a more PG-13 show throughout, this is probably a really good scene. But because of the way they keep shifting the tone back and forth, it doesn't feel earned at all.
So with this, and that's why I asked, did y'all know about the them trying to get like Game of Thrones energy into the show? Because I can see, okay, you have cultures, nations, factions warring against one another.
Mm-hmm.
So if they have a prisoner, okay, you might, you're not going to treat him humanely, like especially if he killed your people or somebody that you actually knew, you'll sneak some shots in. I don't recall ever seeing that from the Earth soldiers, even from the Dai Li when they were corrupted. I don't remember them doing any of this. Now the leader, I can't remember his name, but he had like the hair that started in the middle of his head. I can't remember
Are
his
you
name.
talking about Long Fang?
Okay, I was like, am I being racist by just that name popped up in my head? But yeah, Long
Fang.
Fang. I was like, nah, that's too Asian. But yes, him. So I'm like, okay, he probably would have been the one to do something like that, or I can understand that character doing it. But these soldiers, I never saw that from the actual Earth Nation soldiers. They
I
just
mean,
carried out their
there's a
duties.
part in the episode in the cartoon where they do actually have Iroh captured. There's a couple of like dialogue allusions to, you're the Dragon of the West, but it's more they're
Mhm.
they more are taunting him on the basis that he lost the battle. They're not like
Yes.
getting super personal with him. And then there is that part
Yeah.
where they're like, these hands are too dangerous, and they go to break them, and that's when he gets rescued. So
So I remember when he was in the hot tub, and it was like, dude was like, "This is a Fire Nation soldier." He was like, "Oh, this ain't just no soldier. This is the Dragon of the West. This is Iroh."
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
like, yeah, I remember that, but it was just like, okay, we, as
Yeah, they're more.
soldiers,
It's more they're
have
treating
done
him
our
as we've captured a prize, and we're
yes.
feeling, we're pretty high on ourselves right now. It's like we beat you then, and we've got you now. That kind of vibe to it. Whereas this, and again, this if you have a more serious show throughout, you have a good idea here where someone has is coming from the perspective of, hey, when you were during the siege of Ba Sing Se, I lost family to you. You were a butcher and all this stuff, and I'm like, okay, yeah, this is something you could do,
Yeah,
but
so
you haven't earned this at all.
that's what I was saying, Gord. By if you were trying to get the Game of Thrones energy like that, whereas I lost someone to you in this particular battle, it's like I could understand that,
Mhm.
but they're not being consistent like with that
Yeah, it's
tone
like this
or
feels
being
it
serious.
feels like a scene from another show. It's like this doesn't feel like
Yeah,
it's part.
yeah.
It should be part of this show. It's like you
But
haven't
then
really done
when
this well.
I see that shackle that close to his face, and then you watch the animated series, and he like breathes on it
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
makes it hot, and then he starts like doing his little moves to plan his escape, or just little things when he drops the sandal. I'm like, okay, this is it. It's close to
Mhm.
his face. He about to breathe on it. We're about to see some fire bending, or like some some utilization of the powers, the bending, and no, he
Nope.
punches him like a regular fucking
Yep.
person.
There was no bending on either side on that part. Yes.
You know,
I was like, bro, what is this? But again, just like I was saying with the animals, it's like if they don't take these early opportunities to do this stuff, do you just know the shit's not coming later on? They don't care.
it's just everything is like, oh, how do we get this part in here? How do we get this part in here? And it's messy. It's really messy.
Y'all, I'll be right back. I gotta piss.
Yeah. What
It's called water bending, AJ.
what bothered me too is like the show has a consistent running joke with Iroh where he's missing his pie show pieces. Like
Mhm.
and that is what he dropped to like help indicate where he was instead of his shoe. Like,
Which he doesn't even know that Zuko's on his trail. That's the really weird thing is there's, I know he's aware that Zuko probably would look for him, but it's like,
Yeah.
does Zuko know these prisons that well? And it's like, that's a lot. And I mean, and granted, I laughed a little bit just at the fact that like the pie show piece is kind of the leaf of Lorien thing from the Two Towers where Pippin drops it on the ground. It's like, I was like, yeah, is that what we're going for here? It's like the shoe would have just been better,
The
but
shoe
because
would've been
obviously they
fine,
have the
yeah.
running joke where his feet smell really bad, and that's what they
Right.
do in the show. But here's just like he dropped a pie show. Like when he dropped it at first, I was like, oh, he dropped the White Lotus piece. Is
Yeah.
he hoping a White Lotus member is gonna
Right,
come
and
and
all
save him?
of all pieces to drop too. Yeah, it's that annoyed me.
And yeah, this is another really, really clunky part where they're walking through these halls, and I think this is where he,
It's just the rock candy hall.
yeah, which I was like, okay, it's like they didn't really do anything with this. It's weird.
No, it
they've-
was just to like. I mean, what's interesting is Aang even says like, "What are you trying to do here?" And I
think
was
the-
like, "Yeah, I agree. What are we trying to do here?"
I think this is actually where he gives that line where he's like, the boomy eye, wouldn't what I you can't convince me you don't have any hope. Challenge accepted, and I'm like, what? Why?
So as far as the last episode, because again, man, there's just like no connection to Boomy, and then out of nowhere there is. And Hing has all these fucking thoughts and reminiscing about him after being in the city for a whole episode ago. I think when they mentioned, because Jet says the king has went like senile and just kind of like just let the Fire Nation just infiltrate. I'm like, you would think that somebody would say King Boomy, and then maybe that would have like jogged some type of memory or started the conversation of this guy, but that never happened.
No,
He's just the king of the Earth Kingdom.
yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, especially if they're just planning on disclosing who he is right away. Anyway,
It's almost like they did this because they were like, well, we know the audience knows who he is, so why hide it? And I'm like, because character-wise, it doesn't make a lot of sense the way you're doing it.
Yeah, just like cabbages. And then, because I was in the restaurant when y'all was talking, but the Iroh saying when he dropped the pie show piece,
yeah,
and he dropped the lotus, the White Lotus. I'm like, has it even been said in this show that the White Lotus means anything?
no,
So I mean, they might try to bring it back later on, but the point of because I think Gord was saying that he didn't even know that Zuko would be looking for him. Well, in the animated series, Zuko told him, "I'm going to be back at this time." Or no. He said, "If you're not back at this time, then I'm going to leave." And Iroh was joking like, "Oh, I missed my time." That's also another great scene. Y'all know I love the animals. Okay, a vole. It was some type of little mouse thing that had jumped up around the hot tub, and Iroh was talking to it, and he was like, that thing kind of woke him up. So it's like it showed that connection that he has with nature, And we believe like, a lot of people will say, well, if my dog don't like you, then I don't like you,
Yep.
or there's something wrong with you. So the fact that these animals are responding to Iroh in this way, it kind of drops hints or lets you know that Iroh is not a bad guy. Animals sense who he really is. So that didn't happen, but yes, that gave reason. I'm not gonna say it gave reason. I think he believed, or he had hope, that his nephew truly cared enough about him to not just leave him, but to come back and get him. So having faith in his nephew, he dropped that sandal.
Mhm.
Whereas here, it
Well,
didn't
obviously,
happen.
Zuko had like all he had to do was come back to that spot, and he's on the beginning of that trail. This, the way they've set it up here is wow. That's quite a look.
Hey man, the more I see Zuko, I love gay Zuko, bro. Man, he's
They've
doing the
turned
martial
Zuko
art.
into a bundle of chopsticks.
Yeah, he is, man. But the way he be flipping around, and if this guy's doing his own scenes, I'm like, look, he real flamboyant with them fire kicks,
He's flaming.
Yeah.
dropping them fire flakes while he walk.
But yeah, it's just because Iroh and Zuko, they get separated. It's like Zuko, it's like he has to literally find the beginning of the trail, and they don't really show him do that. I'm like, this is a foreign land to him. How he's so easily able to discover all this, and I'm like, that's a bit silly to me. That's a bit silly.
Bro, and when Zuko comes out, and I mean they do a little bit of it here, but man, when I think the Earth Soldier was about to drop a rock on Iroh, and then Zuko jumped out of nowhere with the flying side kick, kicks the rock out the way, and Iroh is like, "Yeah, my nephew here. We about to kick y'all ass."
It's like, great form, Prince Zuko. And he's like, I had a
I've
good
taught you
teacher.
well, nephew.
Yeah. Yeah, and here there's these, yeah, like the lights that doesn't play into this really. They're just kind of there, whereas obviously in the cartoon they actually help lead the way out.
Right.
Now they're
And
just
here
there.
they were like, it's leading us out. And they're like, no, it's not. Just kidding.
Oh man, the torches, bro, that was funny. Talking to the hippie. Y'all remember the scene? I showed y'all the video. I was actually
Yeah.
watching it, and
Yeah.
Sokka, which it shows his intelligence, his ingenuity. Okay, we have this amount of torches, and he asked the hippies like, okay, well, how much light, how much time does it take for one of these burn out? And he was like, 2 hours. So he was like, okay, we have 10 hours. And then the hippie chick like burned all of them at the same time. He was like, that's not how that works.
Doesn't work if you light them all at the same time. Yeah, they keep Sokka in a comedic situation. They put Aang and Katara in a more intimate situation. It's a nice little dual dynamic they've got going for that episode. Here it's just like,
yeah,
it's this episode's such a mess. And it's we haven't even gotten into the really bad stuff yet. That's the weird thing, is we haven't even gotten into the really bad stuff in this episode.
Is that a hint? I should click faster.
Oh, I mean, you could. I mean, but here's them having one of their sibling rivalry arguments. You don't get to ignore me. I can if you're being an idiot.
But she wasn't saying anything to take her seriously about. So
no. Yeah, it's like these arguments just feel like they spring up out of nowhere. It's okay. Yeah. I'm like, you're all trying something, but whatever. It's like you really don't need to show siblings who have lived together all their lives in the midst of sibling rivalry arguments that are meant to develop them as characters. I think most people would assume, since they're siblings, they've had them. It's like, you can have arguments, but you can tell they're attempting to build character off of them. And I'm like, you're all not really doing that. It's like, this is just sibling stuff. And it's not meaningful. There's nothing meaningful in these scenes.
Correct.
Yeah. I don't want to say she was just saying patriarchy bad, but she was just like, you're not dad. I don't know. I was having issues with it. It's not
Oh,
important.
I hate the way they talk about their father. They have butchered him off screen completely. You know, she says like, "Oh, you had it harder than Dad. He never had to do this and this." And I'm like, why is everyone talking so bad about Sokka and Katara's dad?
Seriously.
This is not cool. I mean, they're it's like they're almost putting him on the level with Zuko's dad. It's crazy. It's like, why are you doing this?
I don't know if we have Final Fantasy fans here, but all I see is Chocobo with these
I thought the
armored-
same thing when I saw them. I mean, I know from the show they're a pretty good approximation to the animated versions, but yeah, when I saw them, I was like, "Ha, Chocobos."
Yeah, they are, and you have been streaming Final Fantasy. Gold,
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I just see Chocobos when I see these, and I said armored specifically because it covers up most of the, I guess, skin that you would see from the ostrich horse. So I just see beak and big ass feathered tail.
Mm-hmm.
Stop yawning, man. This is
Oh,
exciting.
sorry. That was a big yawn.
Good stuff.
It's not you, it's the show. But yeah, this is him telling him about his brother, which this conversation is really weird. It's like he first was telling him like, you know, we all had to ration water, but my brother had a gentle heart, and I was like, oh, okay, so he probably dehydrated and died. And they're like, no, then he got attacked and then he burned it. And I was like, what was the point of the water story? It's like, oh, what? I thought we were going one direction.
His reason to talk about it because he had water in his hand. Like, I don't.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it almost played out like a joke accidentally. It's like, but he had a very soft heart, and it's like your brother died of thirst, and he was like, no, he got torched by a fireball. But it's like, what? It's like that. Like, you actually could have made a joke of this almost, but I'm not saying they should have, but it's like, what was the whole thing about the water for? What was that?
Yeah, that could have been appreciated. Like if these soldiers had like real personalities besides this one guy that they're just trying to build up, bring attention to. I don't know if he's even going to be important in the future.
And by the way, you could have still. It's like if he had said, you know, my brother was not a soldier, so they were rationing water to the citizens, but my brother, he went to give water to a neighbor and he got caught in a fire. He got caught in a fire blast. Like, it's like that's a very easy story to write. You could have done it that way, and boom, you've got your story. But instead, you've got these two things he's telling him. It's like those aren't really related.
Man, this shit was a waste of time, man. They should have just left them as important as they were in animated series. You're just soldiers transporting Iroh.
Seriously.
What's all this talking about, man?
Mm-hmm.
Why do I care about your brother? I'm caring about Iroh's son and him dying. I don't need to know about your Earth.
Like, this scene would have worked better if Iroh is attempting to have a legit conversation with this soldier. It's like, okay, he's bringing up this stuff. He lost his brother, and it's like, okay, Iroh, you got an opportunity. Like, to me, it's like this is where Iroh should have been sympathetic almost, where he almost, like, you could have developed his character where he's like, yeah, but he's just like, well, no, it was war. And I'm like, why don't you actually start having a conversation with this guy? And he's like, and start telling him about how your son died in the siege too. And you might start to, you know, put out little breadcrumbs of maybe Iroh is seeing what's wrong with this war or something like that. But it's like, no, he just is having this memory. It's like, okay.
No, he's like, whatever. He's like a freaking Nazi. Like, I was following orders. Sorry.
You know,
gives him the Nuremberg defense.
About it.
That actually would have been the perfect moment for Iroh to drop his little wisdom on this guy.
We don't get enough Iroh wisdom at all.
We don't. And we don't, you know what, Jana? We don't get Iroh smiling.
Yeah.
We get like, like we get that typical Asian older man laugh, but we don't get the big ass smile from Iroh, man. We don't get that.
He's less cherry than a mall Santa. It's insane.
Yeah, man. I hate this Iroh. I hate this character. Nothing against the actor. I feel like he's working with what they gave him.
Yeah, they've turned him in many ways. Just he's very just kind of blank a lot of the time. It's like Iroh has so much personality. He's jovial. It's like, but sympathetic, and
Iroh's my favorite character.
Iroh's great. Iroh's great.
One of my
He's one of
dogs'
the
name
best
is
written
Iroh.
characters from the show. Here, it's just like, ugh, who thought this was good?
Yeah, man, this shit's. I love this scene. Go ahead and say that. I messaged y'all that.
I agree with you. This is best scene of this episode. It obviously would have worked a lot better if the episode around it were good, but this was one of the few times they did a little bit of character development with the two of them and their relationship, and I'm like, it's a nice scene. I like it. This is good.
And I think, because I can't say for sure the timeline, but Iroh was a soldier at this point. I'm going to believe that he was just a soldier until he's lost his son. And he's like, man, well, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? What's the point of this is if we're losing loved ones? And I'm sure on the other side, they're losing loved ones as well. Like, it's terrible to put people through this. And Ozai is just like, legacy cemented in history. Y'all done great things. And Iroh's like, oh, okay, yeah, cool. But Zuko is the one that actually has a heart to heart, like a familiar, or I don't know how you say it in this context, but that type of connection, relationship with him, or conversation where he's like, okay, there's something different about this kid. Which I think in the animated series, and maybe I'm just assuming, like he could always kind of see that from Zuko, from the mom, which have we even had the mom in this series?
She does not appear in this season at all.
Oh man, it's not just hate for the man, it's hate for her too. But like seeing the mom and Zuko interacting with the mom, but also the clear being the opposite of Azula. Then he's like, okay, that's the one member of that little family over there that's like actually human. Again, besides the mom. But I think this really did it for me, where it's like, okay, I lost my son, but the spirit of my son, or there's still something worth fighting for in this kid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And him sitting next to him was a thing too. Like,
what's up,
he was about to
Dildo?
walk
I mean,
away.
Hunty. My bad.
There's someone. What's up? Hello. Hello, you.
What's up, Hunty? Saying hello to Dildo.
What? Okay, there you go. Surprise soccer.
He does have an Easter Island face, definitely.
He does. Yes, that's the perfect emoji for him.
Resting Easter Island face. Active one too. It doesn't change.
Man, I like this scene. In a better show, this would have been perfect.
Yeah. This is one of the better ideas they had. Definitely one of the better. It's the highlight of this episode, that's for sure.
Iroh was broken down. He was like, man, fuck Omashu, man. We lost. We're not getting in there, bro. Dude, resting black face. Resting round face. That's what we call it. The Asians.
And we're still defending Jet here.
Oh yeah, that was so bizarre. I'm like, Katara, he's a terrorist.
Hey, once you go black, you know.
And it's like he's family. It's like he lost family just like us. And I'm like, he blew up innocent people to kill a few spies, Katara.
Hey,
what's going on with you?
Hey, she water bended that thing. That thing.
Jeez.
Katara,
whoa! It just happened. Yeah, that line didn't sit well with me at all. It's like Katara, you where's your moral compass, lady? My gosh.
She said he made me a woman.
Oh man.
I was a girl running with y'all. I'm a woman now. After meeting Jet.
Yeah, this is where they kind of they're crapping on their dad here. I'm like, I hate that.
This was something else that was weird because I don't remember this in the animated series where she like really highlighted anything that he did while the dad was gone. But here she's like, you protected us, you led us. And I'm like, you know what? I don't think he actually did. I
I
think
mean,
the
he was
dad
I mean,
told him that.
he sort of was a leader when all the men were gone at war. He sort of was. And it's not that the line could work if you're simply showing Sokka have doubts about, his ability to lead and stuff like that. But that's not what's going on with his character here. It's just they keep coming back to him being mopey about, his dad not believing him. And it just gets shoehorned into episode after episode. It doesn't really fit the the theme of the episode at all. It's like this stuff where they're crapping on their dad really has nothing to do with the rest of the episode. So it's like, why are y'all doing this constantly?
Yeah, but I like, what the fuck was Sokka protecting their village from?
I mean, just the kind of in general. I mean, there weren't really any threats. That's the thing is,
There's
So that's what I
but
mean. Like,
you
this,
can lead them in other ways. It's not just protection. You can obviously try to, get them prepared just in case, and that's noble. Or you can, assign people to work and to certain duties to keep everything,
but he,
but
I think he was still too young to actually have that responsibility. I think it was something that his dad just told him, like to just leave his son with some hope, or like Mufasa telling Simba, remember who you are. Like, no, he didn't get
yeah,
to
I
tell
mean,
him
in
that
all
before he
honesty, and
died.
the cartoon more alludes to their grand really being kind of the main leader of the town in
Yeah,
general
that's what
for
I'm
like
saying. I'm
kind of
sure
the
there were
everyday operation
elders.
stuff more fell to her, but Sokka, his duties, trying to keep the kids prepared, they probably most of them thought, we're never going to need this. Now, granted, they ended up needing it, and that kind of validates, what he was doing to a certain extent. But yeah, it was more just in his head. He was just kind of it was there for him to learn responsibility.
Yeah, yeah.
That was really the main function of it. But here they're trying to turn it into something a little bit more serious. And again, you can do that, and it could work if you've set the dynamic up right. But they haven't done that.
trying to figure out what his turban looks like.
It looks like a merry-go-round without the horses.
I would hide rocks in there,
Beads.
honestly.
You'd hide rocks in it?
For sure. I'd always
Earthbending.
have a
Like
weapon.
ammo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All of a
That's
sudden
not a bad idea.
the hat bursts open and all these rocks come flying at you. It's like, oh my gosh, he's got a semi-automatic turban.
Yeah, you know what? The idea gets better the more I think about it. But if he has a turban, some jewels or whatever, like etched into it or carved, just sitting on the turban, like that little front area. Hell, the pearls
Mhm.
right there. Come on now. All of that is ammo. No, I never take the turban off.
Looks heavy. It looks heavy.
Yeah, it does.
No wonder he's so hunched over. It's like, man, maybe he's got a smaller
He
turban,
takes
man. You're
off the
back
hat.
Jeez, dude.
Oh man, that's funny. For the Naruto fans, when Rock Lee takes off his leg weights, to see Boomy take off his turban and he drops it and it's just heavy as shit. Like, that old man been carrying that on his neck.
It's like, no wonder you don't have any hope. My gosh.
I have the hope in my turban, eh?
My turban is symbolic for me having the weight of the world on my shoulders.
I'll sell these metals, these precious earth metals.
But yeah, I don't get the angle they're going, like, oh, he's lost hope. It's like the Fire Nation hasn't taken over your city. So why have you lost hope? I mean,
There's no reason to lose hope at this
it's
point.
nonsense. It's like you're still standing. You should, it's like as a city, you all should be one of the prouder Earth Kingdom cities because you all have withstood them for 100 years. You're basically probably one of the greatest beacons of hope for the whole rest of the world if you're still standing at this point. So how he suddenly, it's like, okay, I get that he would lose friends and that would be, that would be tough on you, but it's like, dude, that's that's war. That's how that goes. Like, you're king, you're supposed to be better than that. It's like it's weird because like they're almost semi-justifying Jet's standpoint. It's like, well, maybe he should be gotten rid of if this is how he's gonna act. My gosh. Yeah, nothing about his character makes a lick of sense. This is written terribly.
Oh man, and then the reveal of him being this crazy jacked super earthbender when he told Aang like choose your opponent. And he had the two dudes on the side of him, and then Aang was like, I choose you, thinking he was gonna choose like, yeah, I know a loophole.
I'm uncomfortable with this.
Right.
I'm uncomfortable with this crotch shot met with the subtitle grunts.
Nah, man, I'm grunting. I'm grunting hard.
Someone needs to
I'm
screenshot
revealing
this.
myself.
Yeah, grunts.
There's a lot of grunting in this show, actually.
Yeah.
So.
But when Aang chooses him, and then Boomy takes off the big ass coat or jacket,
Wrong choice.
Wrong choice. And then Aang's like, no, never mind. Can I redo?
Just kidding.
There are no take-backsies in my kingdom. It's like, that's fantastic. Where is that in this show?
Yes,
Where is that fun humor?
Like,
and again, at that point, he still didn't know who he was. He still didn't know who he was at that point. It was so much better here. It's just like, I'm going to prove I'm hopeless. It's like, what?
What?
So retarded.
Bro, I love to see Zuko fight in this.
Yeah, I'll give the actor this. He's a good fighter. His fighting scenes are pretty solid. Most of the fighting scenes in general are pretty solid.
I see why they released this scene like separately.
Dildo, stop that shit, man. You keep leaving one black for another. No.
He's Vidge's boy.
I don't know if I know who Vidge is. Not off the top of my head.
Another YouTuber.
I mean, I figured that much, but
that's all I got.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's cool.
Do it. Oh man, you can't get the scene where he fucking turned dude into a goddamn a statue of cinder.
Well, hey, it fits the Sodom and Gomorrah thing. He turned him into a pillar of
right
salt.
Before that, right?
Ooh.
He turned him into a pillar of salt. That's no wonder Omashu's under attack. They're Sodom and Gomorrah, and they're gonna be rained down with hellfire.
Man, this
is what you get for your element being lesbians.
So this right here. So as
lesbian punishment.
Yeah.
Down with the gays.
Earthbending is an abomination.
Hunty, super gay. It's not 12 inches. That's all I'm gonna say.
No.
So okay. So Zuko came in. He's helped Iroh to fight against the Earth Nation soldiers, and if Janna goes ahead, you see. No. It's back. It's previously. I mean, he just sets one dude completely.
It's like right before this, right?
Yeah.
Oh, it's right before this.
Yeah, before. No, that's just a rock.
Yeah, it's right here. That guy is melted.
So just sets this dude ablaze. He's done for.
Like, my gosh. Barbecue that dude.
And then in the next scene, he's like, no, we've seen too much death.
We've seen too much death, like just now, where I
literally
completely
a second
obliterated
ago.
your friend.
Oh, like one more point for the Fire Nation.
I'm going to give him permanent blackface. Look, more grunting.
And he just like, no, I'm not gonna kill you. Hold on. That's so crazy. That's retarded. The one soldier that's been giving you shit, you ain't gonna kill him, but you gonna kill this regular dude who's just been doing his job, ain't been treating you terribly.
Yeah.
Just kill him. He's
Probably
a nobody.
one of the guys that stopped him from dropping the rock on his head too.
He probably was that guy. Like, nah, man, you don't want to do this, bro. This ain't gonna look good on your record, man.
I mean, shoot, what if when they're walking away here, he earthbended at him?
It's a lot of paperwork. Can we not?
Oh, Iroh. God dang. Hunty
Yeah,
said,
Zuko
where's
has
the
he has
scar?
a scar. Zuko has a scar.
It's a blemish.
Yeah, it's not.
Cool
It's not the
looking
best
badger
scar.
mode.
They're holding hands.
And he can. This is one of the cringiest, and obviously we talked about this off stream a bit, but yeah, this is one of the cringiest moments dialogue wise, where she explains that the badger moles can't see, they feel people's emotions. They like most strongly of all, they feel love. Like they feel like other people's love, and I'm like, what? It's like she just knows this all of a sudden.
She just knows it. It's just known.
And then, oh yeah, they're like, hey, I wonder if we can give them orders. Hey, we can give them orders. It's like, oh my gosh, this is so stupid.
They respond to love. So the audience knows that these siblings love each other because the badger moles approved.
Oh my gosh. It turns out the badger moles, it's like you can lead them around with scissors. They really like those for some reason.
So Hunty says, how do they feel love? Like smell pheromones? Again, the idea of
know. I don't
the idea
know.
of it is not completely off, but this show is not competent enough to make it make sense
At all. It's just they figure it out, and it's not even just that. It's like it's not presented as a question. It's like, wait a minute, are they responding to human affection or something like that? Because you could do it to where it's like, how Toph, she can like, with her earthbending, she can kind of see with it. Maybe like you could have like kind of their vision where they feel the vibration and they kind of, you can almost show a silhouette of them holding hands, and they recognize that as like that. That's all you would need to do is you could write it like that to where
Yeah, you could.
you
Yeah.
do the little vibrate thing where it shows a silhouette of these two people and they see, oh, these two are holding hands. These two care about each other, so they're good. You could do it that way, and you more or less can get away with this. But no, they're just like, oh, they see we're holding hands. They don't see. They feel it's like they feel our emotions, and they go over a list of the emotions. Like she understands, like she understands them entirely. All of the sudden, it's like, my gosh, it's so stupid.
And here you don't see the badger moles earthbend. You see them dig.
Yeah,
they're just
But
diggers.
but in the show they
with
actually
the D,
like
diggers.
with the D. But you're brown, so you can say it.
I have a pass. Yes.
But in the animated series, you actually see them like they do like a little clap or like they move rock. They actually bend the rock. Whereas here they're just diggers with the D.
Yeah.
What's up, my diggers?
What's up, my digger? Hey, that's cool. Hey, I'm definitely an Earth Kingdom, Earth Nation, an Earthbender now. I get to say that. What's up, my digger?
Earthbenders go around if someone says something silly, they're like, digger, please.
Digger, please.
I would like the show a whole lot more if they leaned into that. That'd be great. That would be,
oh man,
you could do some fantastic dialogue if you do it that way. It turns out like the hippie band is like DWA, Diggers with Attitude, something like that. That'd be awesome.
Bro, make it happen.
I'd be down with
it.
Yes, Hunty, exactly.
Yeah. Again, man, the show just wasn't competent enough to really.
We should have been the writers.
Mm-hmm. like it's anytime you critique something, you're always going to have like people who are stans and fans of the show say you think you could do better. And look, in most cases, I'm like, look, I'm not a writing professional or anything, but there's some shows like this occasionally I'm like, yes, I could write something better than this.
Yeah.
Absolutely, I could
I don't
adapt
have
this
to.
material better. I'm
I don't have to
confident.
lick it to know it's a turd.
Exactly.
What's up, Master of Blackjack?
He's
Yeah.
not that
my
jacked
dick.
either. Like I want him to be way more
Yeah.
cut. He needs to be
Yeah.
cut.
Look, this where they should have thrown the CGI or a suit on or something, man. He
Yeah.
should have been like freakishly strong.
Yeah.
And since they have very clearly a younger actor who's wearing horrible looking makeup, the least you could do is have somebody who's really buff. It's like,
Yeah.
nah,
No, this guy's
Yeah,
soft.
he's borderline
yeah,
sagging here.
but how we would be buff is like the rest of the body would kind of have to follow suit. So that's why I said like CGI it or do a suit. Because Boomy was super, like his torso was super muscular, but he had a tiny waist. The man was
Yeah.
attractive. He was
He was
sexy.
a triangle.
So I'm like, I think you would have to those freak proportions. You'd have to do something else. But this dude is just normal.
Yeah, he's got dad bod.
Yeah.
He's kind of just a dad bod. So it's like when he takes off his thing, you're just like, okay, what's okay. We're not
bro.
intimidated right now.
Right. It's supposed to be like a reveal, but there's nothing.
It's
Hunt
like,
said, why is he not super buff? I
He
feel
needs to be
betrayed.
super buff.
ladies, y'all wanted eye candy here.
We
get
want
it.
super buff Boomy.
Yeah.
They got this from the series.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's fine, man. I guess.
It's like the fight scene in isolation isn't bad. It's just the context is horrible.
Look at them
It
arms.
Oh my gosh. He's got Momo under there. He's been giving him a headlock this whole time.
You didn't even notice your lemur losing his fur.
He
Just more grunting.
He stole some of that Pippin Paddleopsicophilus fake hair and just stuck it under there.
Look at that arm, bro. This Boomy sucks, man.
His nipple seems really low too.
That could, yeah. That'd be a great like little negative bullet point to add to a review. Low hanging nipples.
Low nipples.
It's an objective flaw.
Critical
2 out of 10.
Boomy?
Do not recommend.
That's Boomy. Bro is as
Yeah.
big as the cabbage. Exactly.
Yeah, bro. That's supposed to be Boomy.
He looks like a cabbage. And Aang's got that I just went to the bathroom face, or I'm currently going to the bathroom face.
Bro, I love
And
this
it's
kid.
not fun. It's a not fun visit.
But what the fuck, man? Like his airbending is phenomenal. Like flying was one thing, and now he's just holding up these big ass rocks with wind.
I
Well,
don't
he
mind
made
his
a
airbending
tornado.
should be phenomenal. He's supposed to be an airbending master. That's
He made-
I'm like,
but
that's
he
fine,
made
but
he made the tornado, which made sense. And there was one rock. He's holding up 2 giant rocks, man, with one arm apiece.
And he's wanting it, like the whole lesson here he's trying to teach him is that, you'll have to make the hard choices. I'm like, what, like killing your own friend? What, like, this is so stupid. This is a horribly handled lesson. And it's like, come on, drop it on me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so dumb. Boomy's just been absolutely butchered.
Horrible.
Yeah, Critical. You're gonna be disappointed for sure. We're watching it, so you don't have to. You can bitch on it, bitch about it from the comments, man.
You'll believe me, you'll go through, there's several stages you'll go through. Disappointment's just the early one. It'll descend into far worse feelings.
There's different stages of grief for sure.
Exactly. Disappointment's just the early one.
Hold on. So we see Sokka right there. Bro, Katara bent
Hmm.
water to make ice so he could slide. Like it was a fucking spy movie or some shit. I
And
don't
yeah,
know.
and like he knew
Right.
she was gonna do it. It was perfectly they read each other's minds.
They talked about it in the cave.
They learned it from the badger. They felt each other's feelings. That's how it worked.
Oh boy.
Yep. That part was like so stupid to not even mention.
Yeah, and this honestly, the conclusion to this lesson, this gets hammered home over and over again, is I don't have to do it this alone. I'll do it with my friends. This is another one of those lessons that they reiterate several times in this season. I'm like, you can tell us
Yeah.
these things once and we'll get it. You don't even
We don't
really
even need to
have
be
to
told
tell
once.
us. You
Yeah.
can just demonstrate it and then we
Yep.
get it. But these same lessons or these things they're trying to unlearn, they get reiterated over and over and over again. I'm like, who wrote this? Exactly, Jacob. They learned it from watching Batman and Robin. I believe that.
That's the best Batman movie. Stop it, Jacob.
Like this was an episode where it's like, I mean, y'all know I've been going through Rings of Power, which is one of the worst things I've ever seen or dissected. This was an episode on par with that kind of awfulness. You know, it's like as a whole, I don't know if the show is as bad, but this is one of those episodes where I'm like, gosh, this is on a similar level of bad.
Put me in this damn turban, man.
Ugh. And he's like, well, we're back. It's like, we're back in this fight. Because now the Fire Nation is invading. And Aang's now just going to leave. Like, it's like, what? It's like, oh, wait, the Fire Nation's invading? It's like, yep. And he's like, well, we've got to leave. Sorry. And
You're
he's like,
welcome for
well,
the hope. Bye.
yeah, we gave you the hope. That's all you need. It's like,
Power friendship.
it's like we've got, and then they do the mail slide thing. It's like, you just said the Fire Nation was getting ready to invade, and you're playing on the mail roller coaster thing. Why would you do that?
Just one quick slide. It's gonna be fine.
Yeah,
For old
it's
time's
like
sake,
people.
homie.
Look, maybe 12 extra people will die because I'm having this little bit of fun. We don't need to we don't need to make preparations. They can wait a few more minutes. My gosh. It's so
Some bad
stupid.
CGI at that.
Yeah.
At least it was short lived. And then the cabbages thing.
I was like, Aang, just drop the rock on me. Can you just drop it on me? If the Badger moles could feel what I feel right now, they would leave me in the tunnel. Because I ain't feeling no love.
Again, I like this
Alright.
scene. A little flashback
Yeah.
with them.
When we were banished.
We was banished.
We was traitors and shit.
Yeah. I'm coming with you, Zuko. You my digger.
Uncle, you appropriating language.
That's why the episode is called Into the Dark. I thought that flashback was a little off. Like, I get the payoff they were going for. You know, Zuko was there for him, so he's being there for him also. But I'm like, it's. I don't know. It was a weird jump. I thought it was a little strange. I didn't think you needed to pay it off in the same episode.
Yeah, I feel like it was forced.
Because they go over his backstory later, you know, Zuko's, and I'm like, you could have just done it then, and then it's not so on the nose what you're doing. It's a little bit more subtextual. You can call back to, you know, this part, you know, or you can call back to when Zuko was there for him. You know, it's very hand-holdy.
Well, I guess them trying to go back to it the same day is kind of circle back or lead up to some. I don't know, but the humor of it. And that's when I messaged y'all in the group chat where Iroh was like, I have all what okay. The exchange was fine where Zuko was like, you're not gonna be we probably won't be home for a while. And Iroh was like, I have all I need.
Hmm.
And you're supposed to like, oh, he's talking about family, but he was like, all the tea in my bag. I'm
Oh, 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 I'm
like,
so
okay.
jovial.
Yeah, so I'm like, okay, are you doing that for Zuko to try to throw him off? Like you really don't care? You're just or is that for
I think they were just trying to
us?
remind you of cartoon Iroh because they're like, oh, wait a minute,
Mhm.
we don't show this side of him much. T, should laugh about T.
Yeah, like
Do
is
it.
that for us? Are you
Yeah.
trying to have fun with Iroh now?
Yeah, and it doesn't fit the tone of this episode whatsoever. It's like, oh, okay.
But then I look back at the episode with the two lovers and him and Zuko when he saw that flower, he was like, either this is this plant with this delicious tea or it's poisonous or some shit.
Mhm.
And then it turned out to be poison. And he was like, I fucked up. But on the bright side, he was like, when he found the bush of berries, he was like, I found this, which is a cure for the poison or it causes blindness. And then Zuko takes the berries like, I don't have time for this shit, Iroh. Like, no more of this you think you know stuff, bro. Like, we need real answers. Anyway, that was funny, man. That was hilarious. But no, none of that in
None
this.
of
No,
it.
We
comedy
don't
is
get to
not.
enjoy things in this show, man.
No, it's just. I mean, the way. I mean, it's again. Look, you don't have to adapt this one to one. You can view. I mean, I would love to just look at this in isolation for the adaptation that it is, and have a good time with it. But they really don't seem to have known what they wanted to do, with these characters, with the storyline. It's just they keep every theme is repeated ad nauseum. uh Certain characters, for the sake of their changes, have been just horribly butchered in a way that just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. It's a mess. It's like the difference between this and Rings of Power is I don't get the same sense of ill intent on the part of the
Mhm.
people who created this. It's more incompetence. It's
Yeah.
more just you get the sense that they really didn't know what they were doing.
This is probably I don't know if it's me being a fan of animation, but if you showed me this adaptation first, like if I never seen Avatar and I saw this, then I think I'd be like, oh, okay, this is cool. People bending elements. This kid is the chosen one. It's like anime for Americans.
I would think it's if the cartoon didn't exist, I would say there are good ideas here, but it's poorly put together. I wouldn't know character wise what the heck they were going for. But the reason I don't like to look at it that much in isolation is because I know all of those good ideas. Well, most of the good ideas did come from the animated version.
Yeah,
So
so if you showed me this again, I think this was just like kind of introducing a typical American into anime. But then once I see the animated version, I'm like, dude, I'm mad. Like, why the hell you didn't show me this first?
yeah, like if you were to introduce somebody to the world of Avatar with this show rather than the cartoon, they would probably be like, okay, I get the sense there are some good ideas here, but holy crap, this is messy. And they were like, okay, but now watch the cartoon and see how it's implemented correct. And they'd be like, oh well, shoot, why'd you even
Yes.
show me this live action version? That was mean.
To be
Right.
fair, some people who claim to be fans of Avatar, I'm not, I can't say they are or they aren't. A lot of people do enjoy the show. So I know Zuko's actor he was on some carpet or some interview and they was asking him how would fans receive the show, what has he heard, and he was like it's a very mixed bag. So he was like real honest about it. But he was like, he's having fun, he's enjoying the show, glad it got renewed for new seasons or whatever. But so I'm like, okay, there are fans and I'm sure newcomers to the series that enjoy the show, but it's like, dang, does that opinion still hold the same weight once you watch the animated series? But Americans or the West, I've said before, we don't respect animation. So I can see how somebody would choose this over the animated series, but I think that is a cultural problem that we have,
I
not
think
a
yeah, I think the
problem of
only
the
way you would
show.
choose that over the other is if you have no mind to watch cartoon
Yeah,
cartoon type
exactly.
shows, which I don't think there's all that many people like that anymore because anime has kind of made animated stuff very mainstream. So I think most people are pretty open to watching animated stuff, and this is an
I
excellent.
disagree, Gore. I disagree because we might think animation is superior, but everybody's waiting for the live action, or everybody's excited for the live action.
I don't
Or
know. I
most
don't get the
people
sense
will
that most people
see
are looking for that. I mean, at
it's
least based on.
shorter. It's shorter. People don't have the attention span to sit through every episode of an animated series. They want the short, condensed version. Ooh, it's live action, so it looks real. Ah,
I've heard people not wanting to deal with like subtitles. That's more what I hear.
Yeah, I think people have more of an issue with that. But I mean, like, you don't have to be a fan of anime at all to like the cartoon of this. I'm not big
Correct.
into anime. I've seen some. I'm okay with it. I haven't watched all that much of it. Uh, I love this cartoon. I mean, granted, I was reluctant to get into it, but not because I needed something live action. I just thought when I saw the previews for it, I thought it looked weird. I was like, I don't really get this. And it was coming from Nickelodeon, who had really never done anything at that point that was
yeah.
this serious and actually had it well done. I mean, silly cartoons were kind of their forte at the time. This was a this was a major. This is kind of the high point of Nickelodeon, really.
Yeah, same here, man. When Avatar came out, like I was not invested. Like it would be on, and my cousins watched, but I was like, "Come on now, it's Nickelodeon." Like, I'm not getting my hopes high
And
for
again,
this show.
this adaptation is not that much shorter. It's like 7 minutes shorter. It's not that much shorter.
Yeah, but as I sat down and actually watched the episodes, I was like, "Holy shit, this is amazing."
I'm interested to find out what happens with the next couple seasons since they're already adapting some elements from those seasons in this season. So are they like if they might use too much, I think.
I'm, yeah, I would say I wouldn't call me looking forward to the next season's interest so much as kind of dread, but we'll see what they do.
I'm looking forward to having the conversation with you guys.
Yeah, like that. I'm definitely looking forward to the conversation. As far as what they do with it, I'm like, well,
I'm
let's see how you
interested,
do it.
man.
Like, I
Yeah,
guess I wish that the changes they had made, even if they were bad, I wish they were at least more interesting. Like, at least there were like, uh, I wish that some of their other like, okay, yes, they've had some good ideas with changes, but most of their changes are awful ideas, and they're sadly kind of boring.
Yeah.
Uh, I wish
Yeah,
at least some of the
boring is a
changes they
good.
made were a little bit more drastic, like they were actually trying to shoot for something bold. I don't really get that sense with this. It almost seems like they're just trying to maneuver a little bit one way, and then it just goes so astray that it feels like a more wild departure.
man, I'm actually looking for something because as I oh, this is it. This is it. Dang, it's kind of it, kind of not. Okay, this is it. So I don't watch a lot of I don't watch any of the like anime to live action adaptations. I did end up watching this movie, and I think this is my issue with a lot of live action adaptations is they don't really lean into the fantasy part of the source material.
Mhm.
And this is a quick little snippet. Have y'all seen the Wukong movies? I think this was actually on Netflix.
I have not.
Nope.
Okay. When I
Hello.
if yeah, hello. if somebody tells me they've adapted something to live action, I still want very much the cartoon spirit in it. And this does that. I hope the stream is pretty much over. So if YouTube take me down for like playing this, then it's
Oh
fine.
my
It's whatever.
gosh.
But watch, look how cool this shit is. I mean, y'all know Wukong, the Monkey King.
I've heard of it. I know they're making a video game based on it.
Well, I'm saying just the deity, the
Yeah, oh yeah,
god.
that's what I'm saying. Is I'm aware of I'm aware of it because of the video game.
Okay, well, watch this and just see how just fucking how crazy this is. That looks bad. Kinda.
Whoa! Oh my gosh!
So the absurdity from anime.
Yeah, this is going for broke. Yeah. This is
Yeah, so I'm
definitely.
like,
This
the
is
stuff.
just embracing the insanity and just saying, yeah, we're going all out for this.
So I mean,
even
it
if it
can
looks-
be done.
Yeah, it's like
But
even
I
if the
don't see
effects
this
don't look
from-
good, what's happening is pretty bold. It's pretty bold.
Yeah, I don't see this from Westerners.
No. When we go live action, we are trying to marry it to realism
Yeah.
like every time. Like we're pretty much trying to marry it to realism every time.
So like,
It'll be
he makes
interesting
this
what they do with the ending episode of Avatar, in that sense.
Yeah.
That fight scene.
Mhm.
So that's what I mean. It's like when they adapt stuff, they still try to make it look so real. Where it's like, no, I'm not here for realism. Give me the absurdity. Give me the fantastical elements.
Yeah, this
like,
one
make
is
this
just
shit
taking
crazy.
real actors and saying, now it's like we're gonna take real actors and we're gonna make it still absurd.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna keep the absurdity. We're just using people this time, and it's like, cool. I respect that. Because we generally don't do that. When we go live action, we try to in some way, shape, or form marry it to reality. We really never fully go for broke anymore.
Yeah, so that's my issue with Americans trying to do live action adaptations of anything animated. It's like y'all trying to be too serious. Like Borderlands, for example, man, the crazy shit that you can do with that series in a making something live action, and how they just choose not to. They just make it look just all boring, bland. Rampage comes to mind.
Mhm.
Did you ever play Rampage, Gord?
Yeah.
I love Rampage, but that movie, it just looks so, or even the Transformers movies, just so dark. Hell, even Sonic, besides the actual Sonic characters that are colorful and just so different from our world, everything else is us. And I'm like, bro, I don't want to see that shit. Like, no, take me out of it. Even if it's in our world, make it so separate that I don't even realize it. But anyway, yeah, I would love to see them really lean into I guess really just the bending and I guess maybe the spirit world stuff.
I mean, they do bring the spirit world into this. I'll give that, and how well they implement it, you'll see for yourself. I mean, I'll say this: it's definitely an improvement over when they showed him talking to Kiyoshi in the pink filter. So it's better than that. But yeah, I mean, I don't think the show, as far as the bending stuff, is doing a terrible job.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think the fight scenes are probably like if there's one thing that audiences who are not interested in the animated version would have at least sort of a case for is if you're just interested in action scenes, this show has some okay ones. You know, it's got some interesting
Yeah.
fight scenes. The bending doesn't look bad. It's certainly it's light years better than Shyamalan's version of it, which is
God, yes.
hilariously awful. It's like everything's happening in slow, like really, really slow motion. Like it's slow motion that Zack Snyder would even say is a little much. But like that element to it, I'm like, okay, that's more or less fine. It's just everything that makes the thing that makes the cartoon so good is that they marry this cool fighting thing and kind of magical world element with really fantastic characters and really good humor and genuine drama. And this show more just has a lot of cringy dialogue and bad acting and yeah, all the human stuff is pretty crap in this one. It's pretty bad.
I did bitch about the bending seeming more like superpowers as opposed to like art forms.
Yeah.
I don't, it's growing on me, man. I think they definitely made them like superpowers in some parts.
Mhm.
But others, it seems like they are using stances. The characters are more grounded. Not really seeing anything from waterbenders because Katara ain't doing shit, and we
Right.
haven't seen other waterbenders yet.
Well, I think what's killing that is the fact that they're not really showing actual training going on. It's like part of what I think helps to develop the bending as an art form is that they show Aang and they show Katara actually training, because you have to start talking about that when you do that. But there is no training so far. Not really showing it.
Yeah,
It's more
yeah.
just
So
remember your mom and now you're a good waterbender.
Remember her the right way. Yeah.
Yeah.
so like yeah, I'm thinking about it as a video game. It's like we just keep going to like the next boss battle or the next like super important moment. We have no time to just sit there and just grind
Episode to
in
episode,
between story
they've
elements.
gained EXP and bought new abilities.
Yeah, we have no time to just enjoy the journey. But all right, yeah, this episode was terrible. Story wise, it was terrible, but they also butchered a fucking character. A beloved character. Appa and Momo don't even show up.
They're barely in it. Yeah. Momo's not in it at all. At all. At all.
Nope.
Damn, man, I'm sad. No animal love.
Yeah.
All right,
If you're a Momo-sexual, this episode's not for you.
mammal sexual.
I just meant specifically Momo.
I feel you, but anything with fur, man, I'm all over it. I need it. Like June, I can't wait to see what they do
Digger,
with her.
what?
AJ, don't say clippable things.
Look, it's to be expected, man. But all right, I got
That's
nothing
true.
else to say about this episode. I'm
Yeah.
disappointed, man. I'm disappointed.
Bring back buffed Boomy. I agree.
I agree.
Boomy, man. Brown skin.
Bring back
bold.
funny, hopeful Boomy,
Yeah.
who doesn't want you to drop a rock on his head.
Drop it, Aang.
Just drop it. We
Yeah.
haven't lost Omashu in 100 years,
you
but you
don't
probably
kill me.
will kill me.
Make the choice. I'm tired of this
You
shit.
don't kill me, you can't save the world, apparently.
Yeah. Aang, you need to create a power vacuum that will almost certainly end up in the Fire Nation overtaking us. That's the only way you'll win. It's like, what? Gosh.
It made no sense. It made no sense.
Yeah, Hunty, Netflix got a Dynasty Warriors movie. I haven't watched it yet, man. I haven't watched it. I'm gonna check it out though. It looked good from the trailers.
Yeah, I think this is probably. I mean, again, as I rewatch episodes, we'll see if this one holds its place as my least favorite. But I know on first watch, this was the episode I disliked the most, and I disliked it even more on second watch. It's pretty broken. It's like I said, I rated each individual episode, and this one I gave like a 2 out of 10. It's just pretty horrific.
All right, what's the next episode?
The next episode. Let's see here. We'll look it up.
Yeah, go ahead.
I had it here, but I just closed it.
Wet my whistle.
Episode.
That's gross.
Hunty, I never got into Samurai
Okay, so actually
Warriors
the
like
next
that.
episode is So the next 2 episodes, mostly this next one, there's some spirit world shenanigans.
Okay. I've been waiting to
Not
see some of that.
It's
Not the
not very
Heibai?
good. It's not. That's the Heibai thing. I would say this angle coming up it's overdone. It's very overdone. It has it takes till the episode after to get resolved, and I would say the resolution is quite disappointing. But it's a slight, like, the next 2 episodes are not much better than this one, but they're a slight improvement. Again, we've already passed the best episode, and I only gave that one like a 4 out of 10. So we're 3s and 2s from here.
Yikes.
Yeah,
But it's called
Alright,
Spirited
thank you.
Away.
it is.
One of the best movies ever.
It is. It's one of the-
What?
Spirited Away is one of the greatest movies ever, and this is it's not that.
You're
That had to
not
have
trying
been
to say you disagree with us.
For
What
me?
now?
Yeah.
Oh.
No. I'm saying that had to
Okay.
be purposeful for them to name that episode that.
You would think so.
I think Spirited Away is the name of the animated episode, if I'm not mistaken. I think there is an episode of the animated show
Oh.
called that. I could be wrong, but I could have sworn one of the episodes was actually called Spirited Away.
Oh.
I think.
You proved me wrong about the Cave of Two Lovers episode being in season 2, not 1.
It's a
so
title that strikes me as familiar for this show, but I could be wrong about that. I don't know for sure.
I'm gonna take that episode title. I'm gonna use that for a project of mine.
Maybe it's not. I think it might just be called the
I'm
Spirit
looking
World.
right now.
So
Yeah.
I think I'm wrong.
Okay.
Meh.
I should have called you out. All right, y'all. Let's get out of here. I don't think we have any final thoughts, do we?
No.
It sucked.
Terrible. How dare you, Netflix?
The goal.
All right, I'm gonna play us out. I'm just throw some Toonami on.
All right.
Because I love my Toonami.
Bye, everybody.
Sometimes you suffer great misfortune for believing in something too much. There are times that it's tough to believe in anything at all.
Kingdoms rise and fall. Lifetimes come and go. Are any of us here long enough to even make a difference?
We're in over our heads, okay?
What should I be doing?
That's something you have to decide.
I can't do this alone.
Make the maneuver!
There's no time!
Okay, hang on. Now don't die! Don't die!
And what about you? Are you ready to die yet?
I don't know what I should do.
Keep moving, whatever it takes. Even if the way ahead lies through a river of blood.
Take your best shot. I'll give it back to you 1,000-fold.
Now you're finally making sense.
While we're here, we live to the fullest.